Now. All right, what's up, everybody? My name's Coach Jonathan David Lee, and welcome to our weekly webinar. Whoa! That's something that Tony Robbins does, and I really love his energy, so that's why I like to do that, So over the past few days, weeks, months, and, years, I've been asked, what is it I do as a Beachbody coach? And if I wanted to join, what does it entail? Right? There's so much things that encompass a coach, but I don't want to jump into that right away. I want to talk about mindset, stuff like that. So for people who have actually done Beachbody workouts, like who has done P90X or heard of P90X or Insanity before? Raise your hand. And I'm looking at only a few people because I need to see you guys raising your hands. Yeah, Josh going, what? Right? So it was easy for me to explain what coaching was to them. What's up, Ariel? It's the little baby, right? But for people who have not done these programs yet, I decide, you know what? Let me find the way to show them in a way that they would understand. And so this webinar is actually dedicated to those of you who have never done those programs or don't even know what it is, at-home workout programs, right? And so yes, let us begin. So how many of you, by the show of hands, and you can just raise them, work at a job right now or have worked at a job, whether it's retail, salary, part-time? Raise your hand. I'm looking at you guys. There we go. Ben, Chen, Neil, so amazing. Ryan, Dakiana, and James, I see your hands raising. All right, so how many of you, when you open up your paycheck and you're just like, dang, you know what? I thought I worked harder than this. You open up your paycheck and you just lose a whole sum of money. Like there's a big chunk that you feel is missing. Raise your hand. That's from taxes, by the way. So raise your hand if you ever felt like that. Like, wow, I'm getting gypped or whatever. All right, so how many of you believe there's a better way to live and that other people out there are doing it? There's a way, but I don't know how to do it myself. Raise your hand. At the moment, right? If you're on that path, then you got to share it with me, man. I don't know what you're doing, but I would love to hear it, right? So keep those things in mind as we go through this webinar. Normally I do this as a home meeting, but definitely keep in mind. So take out your pen and paper, raise it, whoever has it, raise it, let me see. Because even if you don't become a coach, like this is not a presentation for you to become a coach. This is a presentation for you to show the investing kind of mindset kind of stuff that it all encompasses. Let me see them, pen and paper if you got it. Right? And the reason why I say this is because you might only remember about 5% of what is presented today. But if you write down the important points yourself, then it'll stick in your mind better. And it'll help you in all areas of your life, man. Because when I talk to my mentors and they're making more money than me or they're in a position where I want to be, then I definitely take out a pen and paper and write things down. And I'll keep the potty mouth to a minimum because I know there's some families here, right? So here it is, the agenda, right? Just quickly, how I turn my struggle into my story, right? And we're going to go into Cashflow Quadrant. Who is here has heard of Robert Kiyosaki before? Raise your hand. Or Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the book. Ben Chen, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, right? I know we've been talking about that. Neil, have you heard of Rich Dad, Poor Dad before? Or Robert Kiyosaki? Neil? Just raise your hand if you've heard yes or no, like thumbs up, thumbs down. All right, good. So the second book was the Cashflow Quadrant. It was the book that helped me quit my job at Ernst & Young Corporate America. So we're going to go over the different parts of the quadrant as you see. Then we're going to go follow up with, the choice and options that you have in life that you can choose. And of course, I'm going to be going over the structure that worked for me, the network marketing model, how to build it, and then any questions at the end. All right, so quickly. So who am I, and how did I get started? Let me move this because I don't know if you guys can see that. So I was your typical broke college student, and I beat myself because I saw there was a kid there, right? But I was a typical broke ass college student, and I also started to date my current girlfriend at that time, Annie, right? Some of you already know her, Neil. Of course you know her. No, you don't know her. Yeah, but yeah, if you consider yourself broke or low income, or every time you get a paycheck, you're like, wow, there's not enough, then keep listening because these are all the reasons why I wanted to find a different way to live while I was a college student, right? And I didn't know I was building a business or getting what I was getting myself into. So I also, when I became a Beachbody coach, I took a part-time job at Hollister. making minimum wage, about $9 an hour. So after tax, that was $7 an hour, right? Initially, what I wanted out of my business or my investing was to just pay for off college campus rent. Right? I started when I was a college student. I just wanted $500 a month, right, as a junior. But then something magical happened. It actually, I hit that goal, but then by the end of junior year, beginning of senior year, there were some days or some weeks, as a matter of fact, where I made $500 in 1 week. Right now, it might not seem like a lot, but if you're a college student and you're working this thing part-time and you're doing full-time college student stuff, you're like, whoa, where did this happen? How did this happen, right? There was 1 week in senior year, and I think I told Ding this, and I don't say this to brag or whatever. I'm just saying that there's so many other possibilities out there. That there was 1 week I made $1,600 working online, and I remember that day. I was riding in the car, driving with Annie, my girlfriend. I was like, babe, we're so blessed to be able to do these kinds of things, and I can't thank this business enough, and I can't thank her enough, because actually, when I jumped into this business, I had a lot of negative thoughts in my mind and wanting to quit. And Annie was like, hey, give coaching a year and see where it goes. And well, awesomeness happened, right? I wanted to be my own boss. I wanted to live life by my design. I did take a full-time job out of college, Ernst & Young. How many of you have heard of Ernst & Young before? Raise your hand. Or an accounting firm, Ernst & Young, right? And I was only there for 4 months. Now, I'm not making as much as Ernst & Young now, but it just made so much sense for me to quit so that I can do this thing full time and build a team. And that's why you guys, thank you so much for showing up. This might be for you, this might not be, but when I get to the top, I don't want people saying, Jonathan, why didn't you tell me what you were doing? You guys are here. You guys are in the forefront, right? So thank you guys for showing up. And I see some stuff happening in the chat already, but I'm going to flow through this first before we get to that. Right, I wanted a chance to be my own boss, and right when I started, I was broke. So anybody if you think you have no money to start, or if you're making more than $9 an hour, people, if you wanted to make something happen, you could. Because I was making $9 an hour, $80 a week in Hollister, and I think I had to eat my peanuts and walnuts and chobani in the Hollister bathroom because I didn't have enough hours to make breaks, but I still needed to be this healthy guy. Right? So I had to take it to the bathroom, and it smelled like doo-doo, and I still ate it. But if you guys, because I know I was able to do it at that moment in my life when I was pretty low in that life, you guys can do it as well. Just keep an open mind as we go through this. All right, guys. So Robert Kiyosaki's Cashflow Quadrant, right? So you guys have heard of it. This is the sequel to Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and it's actually one of the #1 finance books out there. So E stands for employee, right? S stands for self-employed. We're going to go through these briefly. And this is the mindset part. So if you want to draw this cash flow quadrant down, it's going to be quick. B stands for big business. I stands for investor, right? So everybody got that? What is, let me see in the chat box right now. What does E stand for? All right, maybe I go back so nobody cheats. What does E stand for? Employee. All right, what does S stand for? Somebody else other than so amazing. Somebody else, give me some love in here, I think Neil's typing something. And give me the B and I, whoever's there. I want to know if you're all listening. Yeah, James says, yeah, Neil, small business, self-employed, same thing. And James, B stands for big business. What about the big old I? Come on, the big old I. Don't you? People want to be I's. The investors. Thanks, Ben Chen. Oh, Ben. There you go. So yeah, that's what they stand for, right? I'm going to get out of that group chat. So on the left side of the quadrant, this is where most of society is, right? And this is because most of us, including myself, were raised to be here, right? So does this sound familiar? Raise your hand if this applies. Go to school, and this is what your parents or teachers tell. Go to school to get good grades, to go to a great university, get into huge student loan debt. They don't say that part, but most kids, they get into student loan debt, right? Get a good job, get a big house, go into even more debt, and then die. How many of you have heard some variation of this by your parents or your teachers or your professors? Raise your hand. Because I know that was me. right? But I knew I did not want to live that life forever. Right? And if you think about it, if this is the life that most people are living, if this is the projection, then it's kind of, sad thinking that, yeah, this is how people's lives gonna be. There's gotta be another way. Now, if you're happy with your job or whatever, then you're winning the game, right? But there is just so many people out there who are at their jobs who hate it and they're doing it for the money, right? And it's just crazy that they would spend 40 years doing something that they hate. And so I want to get into that a little bit more. On the east side, I put this little arrow here. It's because people on the left side of this quadrant, they trade their time for money. Does that make sense? If you're on the left side, you're trading your hours for dollars. And so let's just say if you're part-time, or if you start like me, hourly, I was working at Hollister, $9 an hour. It didn't matter how hard or how not hard I worked, I would still get paid $9 an hour. If you're salaried, again, it still didn't matter how hard or how not hard you worked, because you would be capped. Every paycheck you open, you know what you're gonna get. You know what you're gonna get. Again, if you like that kind of security and you're happy, then you are winning. But if you're opening it up, you're saying it's cool, but then the next day you said this job sucks, then something's got to change, right? Something's got to change. So I was an employee, right? Employees, we get paid to work. And the harsh thing here is that the law is not in our favor, right? So when you guys open up your paycheck, and when I opened up my paycheck at Ernst & Young, I was supposed to take home $59,000 per year, right? But the taxes, if you ever calculate it, they were taking around $20,000 to $25,000 of my $59,000. How crazy is that? So our tax rate as an employee over here in this section is around 35%, right? Does everybody understand that? Raise your hand or a thumbs up, right? And the professors don't teach you this. Your parents might not teach you this because they might be, and that's okay, right? Because a lot of people are raised that way. And so if you think about 35%, so in the 12 months in a year, you are pretty much working for the government for free up until from January until May. So all your money goes to the government because of that big tax, right? So that's something that's, because people, especially parents, they say, oh, get a good job. It's going to be safe and secure. You're going to have benefits. But that old model, that old business model doesn't work. Now that we have the internet, we can do anything from anywhere. And so these big companies, like when I was working at Ernst & Young, we were training people in India, right? And they were paying these people from India way less. So I was actually training my replacement in the future. There's no such thing as job security anymore. And let me give you an example. It's because one of my mom's friends, one of her best friends, actually worked for Verizon, one of the big telecommunication companies out there. Everybody knows Verizon, what's happening. She was one of those workers actually who've been working there for many years. She's about 50-something years old. She thought she was going to have job security. Verizon's going to take care of her. Guess what? They fired her. They laid her off. And what's she going to do now? She has a mortgage. She has kids in graduate school. So that work 40 years for 40 hours a day and retire on 40% of your paycheck just doesn't work anymore, right? That old model was good for the industrial age where people could only work in a certain place. But for us now, we can use the internet, and the companies are getting smarter. They are hiring overseas and all that stuff, right? For me, at least for me in my job, I knew anyone out of high school could do my job, right? I didn't need a college degree to do my job. And I was working for corporate America, one of like those big accounting firms. So I'm just like, if this is happening to me, I only wonder what's happening to other people. So again, that lady, unfortunately, she's depending on her 401k and all that stuff. There's no company loyalty. So next is the self-employed, going back to this quadrant right here, right? The self-employed. So E, as an employee, you work for a job. But if you're self-employed, you don't like having a boss. You say, you know what? I want to own my own job. So that's what self-employed people are. So you got your own private accountants, your doctors, etc. But self-employed people are actually also taxed pretty heavily, believe it or not, because they own their own business. They're taxed at one level and they're taxed on another level. But if they don't like how their employer is running their operations, I guess it still makes more sense to them because, again, if you're happy with what you're doing, then you are 100% winning, guys. But the challenge with being self-employed is that, unless you have a big passion, again, I always like to say passion or love for what you do, because especially for self-employed people, if you don't, you open up your own practice, you can never stop. You can never quit, right? Imagine a doctor opening up their own little building and they're the only doctor there. They can't take vacations and stuff like that. What if they get hit by a car, God forbid? Who's going to take care of their building? They can't ask the receptionist to treat their patients, right? If this doctor gets hit by a car or whatever, they're out for 2 weeks, their business goes under. Is everybody following me here? Or they're following that kind of logic, right? So I'm just like, whoa. So my friend who couldn't make it tonight, he was supposed to be here, but he's heard this already, right? His parents are both accountants. And not the accountant like me. I worked for a firm. I was an employee. They were self-employed. They had their own practice, right? But the mom was working 7 days a week. Dad was working 6 days a week. They only hired a receptionist, and their son, my friend, was going to be a lawyer. So he couldn't take over his parents' practice. So what's going to happen? They can't take vacations. They can't take off, and they're working their butts off, and they can't pass this practice down unless their son or their daughter becomes an accountant as well. But that's not happening because they're both in law school, and that's very unfortunate, right? But that's the thing about being self-employed. Again, if you really love what you're doing, more power to you. You are really winning, right? So next slide. This is the right side of the quadrant, right? It's on the other hand. And this is what most schools will never teach you about. Even professors. How many of you were taught how to invest? Even this. How many of you were taught to invest even the slightest bit? Stocks, taxes, right? You can give me like a meh for a meh, because I know in my university they did not teach that. And again, it's not their fault, because if they're a professor, more times they're not their employees as well, right? So they may have the employee mindset. But the thing is, on the left side of the quadrant, that's where 95% of the population is fighting for 5% of the world's wealth. On the right side of the quadrant, the business owners and the investors, 5% of the entire world population is there fighting for 95% of the wealth. So there's a big discrepancy, right? And that is the way that, if you're on the left side right now, like just how I started, I'm telling you, if you want to get to the other side, there's a way out. And we're going to be talking a little bit about that in the later slides. But yeah, there is, and that's what I'm excited about. That's why I love teaching. Again, if you're an employee or a self-employed and you love what you do, I really love you. And I'm glad that you got that passion, because not many people can say that, right? But I want to show you another way if you wanted another way. So I'm going to talk about investing first, right? Again, I normally do these as a home presentation. It's a little bit more, me and you face-to-face kind of thing. I'm going to start with investing first because most of you are probably familiar with it, right? How many of you are working right now saving in 401ks or looking into stocks, stuff like that? Raise your hand so I know, right? So that's a little bit of what investing is, right? That's what the normal employee or your boss would tell you to do, because that's what most people are doing. Invest in a 401k so that you can have money when you come out. The thing about the 401k though, I mean, I had one, but after doing a lot of research, the rich people don't, or the wealthy people, like rich is money, wealthy is just, all right, it's different, going off to a tangent. But they don't invest in 401k, not because they have a lot of money. I mean, they do have a lot of money, but they understand that the 401k is not going to bring them the wealth that they want in the future, because all those little fees that you might not see in these 401ks, they add up, right? Even if it's like a difference between 1 to 2%, it is compounded over time. So somebody who thinks they have 1 million in their 401k, at the end of when they retire, they're probably going to have 500,000, right? It's still a big lump sum, but look, if somebody had 200,000 and they're expecting that 200,000 to last them the rest of their life, and they only have 100,000 left, then there's going to be a big problem with their retirement plan, right? Real estate. So real estate is something that's also pretty cool. How many of you are interested in real estate or would think about going into that in the future? Raise your hand. Yeah, I like to see those hands. That's how I know I can talk to you guys about some ideas. That's pretty interesting, right? But for real estate, I am actually about to close on my first house investment, student investment in Binghamton, and it's gonna happen mid-October, right? I'm in contract right now. But the thing about that is I needed to get $13,000 to put into this one house, right? I needed to raise $13,000 from my own funds to put in this one investment. And worst case scenario, after doing all the math, it is only gonna bring me $150 a month. I think it's a great investment, but as a broke college student, and if you think you're starting off broke right now, real estate's gonna be a little bit tougher to get into. But I just wanna let you know that as if you're an employee, all that stuff, the I Quadrant is a really cool place to be, right? But not many of us can start there. I know I didn't start there, right? Because I needed to raise capital. I needed to get some extra cash flow. And so this brings us to big business, right? We're going through this at a fast pace, right? Because we're on stay on schedule and stuff like that. So B stands for big business, right? People still work in this quadrant. People still work in this quadrant. I know, like when I said employees, self-employed people, they work for money. In big business, I'm still working. I own a company, right? But I'm working with people so that we can leverage each other's success. And then instead of having a linear growth like this, like working dollars per hour, we can start like this and then really shoot up. Right? That's what I love about big business. And there's three types of big, or not three types, but the definition between a big business and self-employed. Big business have systems. And what I mean by systems, so you can create a system, you can buy into a system, or you can buy a system. How many of you know Apple? Raise your hand. Right? So these are the simple guys. These are the guys who create a system. These are the smart guys, I would like to say. And throw in the chat box right now, like other kinds of companies that you know out there. Yeah, James, that's how the society is. Like, throw them out, like Ford. What other company out there? That's not like a chain store like Chipotle, right? Because that's my next example. Coca-Cola, Johnson & Johnson, right? These are all companies that create big businesses that create systems. The next one is Chipotle. I see. Nice. The next one is Chipotle. You buy into a system that already works, right? So how many of you love chicken bows, you know, that Chiptopia, all that stuff? So if I wanted to start a business, the thing about owning a Chipotle, you need a lot of money to open one up, and you also have to buy like a big storefront, right? But the last one, buying into a pre-existing system, that's Team Beachbody. That's network marketing right there. So again, creating a system, buying into a system, buying a system is Chipotle, and buying into an existing system, that is Team Beachbody. Anybody ever heard of network marketing before? Raise your hand. Or MLM, direct selling, Michael Kwan, hit the Kwan. And if you've heard of it, can you throw out some network marketing company names out there that you know in the chat box below, so I know who knows what? I can even start some out. There's doTERRA, Roden and Fields. There's so many. Type it in the chat box if you know any. If you don't, that's okay. Avon, that's a good one, right? And it's funny, right? Because Ernst & Young actually audits Avon, I believe, and Team Beachbody. But anyway, back to business, right? In big business, when I talk about taxes, right? Remember, the employees pay around 35% tax, and as self-employed, they pay like maybe 40, 60% tax. In big business and investing, I pay anywhere between 0 and 10%. I know for Beachbody myself, I legally paid around 10% in taxes. And some people might think, whoa, how do you guys get away with that? Or how do big companies get away with that? You know, you hear it in the news all the time. How come Apple is only paying $100,000 in taxes when they make so much? Well, here's the thing. It's all legal, and the tax laws are in your favor when you're an investor or you own a business. Because instead of owning a house, let's say you're an investor, instead of owning a house, you are providing homes for people. And the government wants to see that. Who doesn't want to see that? And if you're a big business, you're not working at a job, you're supplying jobs. And the government loves that. So of course they're gonna work with you. They're not gonna want you to go away. They're gonna work with you with the tax laws. So I paid around 10% in Team Beachbody. And I was like, whoa. Because when I get income with my big business, I take all my expenses first and then I pay taxes last. as an employee, you get paid income if you open up your paycheck. Then your taxes come out first. Yeah, you might put in a 401k and all that stuff, but that's very small, right? Then you get taxed, and then you spend on your rent, on your dinner date with your girlfriend or your boyfriend or whatever, right? So it just made sense for me to go full out, right? And so if you are on the left side right now and only on the left side, you don't have to stay solely on the left side. You know, some people love their jobs again, and that's fine, and that's totally up to you. But if you're wanting to, you know, get on the right side of the cash, who after listening to this is a little bit more curious about the right side of the cash flow quadrant and how to get there? Raise your hand. Neil. Yeah, right? And because when I was taught this, I was like, wow, you know what? I've really got to get something going, right? You can get on the right side while still being on the left side. If we go back to the quadrant, it's like a 4. Again, I normally do this in on this board right here. Can everybody see this board? Raise your hand. Cool, right? And so I normally, this is the quadrant. So if you're on this side, you're just gonna have to mirror, and you want to get on this side, you don't have to just quit your job right away, right? Because some of you still have to support your families and all that stuff. I'm just saying keep an open mind, so when the opportunity arises, you can put maybe one foot in the employee section while putting 1 foot in the big business or the investor section. Right? That's all I'm saying. And so where do you want to be? That's the cool thing about America. You have a choice to be whoever you want to be. It doesn't matter what your parents think. It doesn't matter what your professors think. You have a choice. It's not like China or Venezuela or the Syrian countries or Argentina. You know, those guys are like, there's 15 million refugees, what my pastor said this past Sunday. And it was like, we're so lucky to be born in America. And there's these other 15 million, if we think our lives are bad, there's 15 million people out there wishing they were us. And we could have been born one of them, or even a tree or something like that. But we're born a human being in the freaking United States. So you get to choose where you want to be, guys. And so let me go into an opportunity that really, I didn't even know was big business. I was just broke as hell. And I didn't want to be broke as hell anymore as a college student, right? And so Beachbody Coaching is actually in the B quadrant. It's one of those network marketing companies where you buy into a system, right? And I'm glad that I learned about Beachbody Coaching when I was a freshman in college, because nobody was ever going to teach me that. I was kind of scared because I was only I only knew how to trade my time for dollars, right? Get paid hourly, or the big salary. You want to become an investment banker and get this big salary, right? So I did not know how to start a business. I did not know that it cost money to get into coaching, right? And there's a low startup cost for Beachbody Coaching. It's actually $4 a day. So someone like me making $9 an hour is like, okay, I can swing this. I just got to be really frugal, right? And save up all my money just in case this thing goes south. And so if you're making more than $9 a day, $9 an hour, excuse me, Beachbody Coaching might not be for you. But if you're making more than $9 an hour, I know you can make something work, right? And so there's no contract for people to, like, you don't have to be stuck. That's the thing about, and that's another thing that drew me into Beachbody Coaching. You know, so many people have told me, Jonathan, why don't you just create your own fitness program and sell it, right? Wouldn't you get all the profit instead of giving some to Beachbody? Well, by show of hands, how many of you can build a better hamburger than McDonald's? Raise your hand. And I want to see Michael Kwan smiling. How many of you can keep those hands up? I want to see. How many of you believe you can build a better burger than McDonald's at a barbecue cookout, right? McDonald's rolling in with here's a cheeseburger, and you're making this bomb onion mushroom burger, right? How many of you believe you can build a better burger? Raise your hand. Good. How many of you can sell a burger better than McDonald's? Raise your hand. Right? You might be able to sell to your family and friend members, but on a scale, they have the system in place. And that's what makes them the big business. Yes, I can create a better workout, but I don't have the supply chain. I don't have all the ads on TV. Who has seen a Beachbody commercial at 4 a.m. in the morning or 3 a.m. in the morning at some odd time, right? They're already out there. They're on the radio. I don't know if you heard Carl Deichler speak. oh, this is Beachbody on demand, or on the online streaming, stuff like that. They have that. And with the system in place, I knew I can start part-time because all I needed was a computer and a phone. Because I took this baby up to me in Binghamton. Worked anywhere from any time as long as I have internet. And so, and I also did not need to be a fitness expert or nutritionist. How many people of you, when I added you on Facebook or as a preconception, think I'm a personal trainer? Raise your hand. Right? You know, so many people have this, Jonathan, oh my God, you quit your EY job. How's your personal training? How's your personal training business going? I'm just like, dude, I don't do personal training. I'm not even certified, guys. Right? That's the thing about, because I'm not creating programs. I'm not creating meal plans for people. Literally, I am working out from my home, drinking a chocolate shake, all these things that already exist, and share and posting it on Facebook. That's literally what I get paid to do, is work out, drink the shake, share it on Facebook, help other people do the same program or a similar program that works for them, and help them get results and build a team. That's it. You know, when it all comes down to it, I'm not a personal trainer. That's so complicated. I don't want to do that stuff. So that's why Beachbody coaching was so awesome to me, right? And so what's required in this like these big business, not just in Beachbody, but in any kind of business venture that you set yourself out there, right? I want to go back to this. So people who have also wanted to start Chipotle, right? I was thinking about franchising and all that stuff, but again, $500,000 to open up a building, and I also needed $2 million net worth when I did the research to open up a Chipotle. But I wasn't rich. I was 19 years old, no certifications, no experience, no credit, broke as, but I needed a way to earn some extra income. And so it appealed to me, right, guys? So what's required in this? It's the mindset, right? In anything, any big business, because this is not an hourly paid job. This is not a salary kind of thing. It's a chance for you to be your own CEO, you know, and you're buying into another person's business, another person's system, and then you're creating a team to work with you so you're not working by yourself, right? Number two is willingness to learn and help other people. Because at the end of the day, no matter how much money you make, you should always be a student, I feel, and you should always try to progress and give back to society. You know, again, Pastor gave this really great example that Michael Phelps, you can be the greatest of all time, but after you get to the top, what else is there in life, right? So he's probably opened up some charities and stuff and giving back to the people. And that's what I want to do. And that's what I am doing right now, but I want to do that on a larger scale. And then, of course, the investment in you, right? So for those, again, the $4 a day comes from, because the starting bundle and all that stuff is $140. So again, broke college student, some people spend more on sneakers than they do on this investment, right? Or clothes. And when I say, oh, do you want to try this business, or do you want to learn about an opportunity? Like, nah, man, nah. But when a new set of Jordans comes out, right, they're like, I got to get myself on those Aqua 8s or something like that. People are willing to spend money on these little things. And unless they're making profit from it or turning into a business, I don't see much value personally. But if it gives you joy, do your thing, man. Just don't complain in other parts of your life, all right? So with that investment in you comes your first month worth of Shakeology. How many of you have seen Shakeology before on my page and talk about it? Raise your hand. All right? Meal replacement shake, you guys can do the Googling and all that stuff. All the ingredients are actually food items. That's why I drink it all the time. You get your Beachbody workout, your own online websites customized by Beachbody. Again, you get to buy into a system. They do all the stuff for you. They even create your own websites. There's no minimum quota and no need to carry inventory. So if you don't sell a certain amount in a year or whatever, they're not going to cancel your coach account, right? And there's no need to carry inventory. I think network marketing, which is the industry that we're in, had a bad rap in the past because like Tupperware or Cutco, they used to be network marketing companies. I think they're still around. They used to have people buy a bunch of product and then stash it in their garage and sell from there. But now that we live in the internet, we don't need to do that anymore. We can ship it to anywhere in the world, right? Here's the thing. I want to mention another thing, that in 30 days, if you feel, again, because I said there's no contract, in 30 days, if you feel like this is not for you, then you can send the package back and you'll get a full refund. no questions asked, right? And you can cancel at any time. It's just if you wanted the refund for the 140, it's the 30-day mark. If you're trying to build a Chipotle or start an Apple, you got to take out, on average, startups cost $65,000 to start. So you try telling your loan officer, saying, hey, a month's over, it didn't work out for me, can you take back this loan? Right? It just doesn't work like that. They're not going to take back this loan. If you open up a Chipotle, they're not going to tear down the building. They're going to say, you better sell more chicken bowls and get me back my money. Right? That's what the loan officer is going to say. So how do you make money in Beachbody coaching? There's the quick one. I'm saying there's the easy, I guess easier to understand way, the 25% commission on everything that you sell. You can be your own little store, whatever. But that's not the way I like to build, because I can't be selling a bunch of Shakeologies all the time, even though I love it. I'm going to burn myself out if that's how I'm making my living, right? The big one is called team cycle bonuses. That's where we're building a team. And that's why I love that you guys are all here and listening in, because that's where the team building comes from. We all work together. Again, big business. We leverage each other's time so that we can get passive income. Like, dude, today, again, Beachbody doesn't guarantee any level of income. And also, I don't want to say this just to say this, but I'm showing you potential. Like, I woke up today and I made $100 right off the bat waking up. Right? And as the day progressed, right now I'm at 205 in this one day. And I think I'm going to end the day somewhere between 250, 275, because we're working as a team. And that's craziness. You know, I know some people who have started later than me who make way more, and there's some people who start earlier than me that make way less. But it's just insane where this kind of leverage and business building, exponential growth, passive income can do for you. You know, making money when you're sleeping, when you're on vacation. When I was in India sophomore year and I was making money, right? And when we live in the digital age, you can travel. I can be in India right now earning US dollars and spending in rupee, right? That's how crazy this age is now. But I want to get back to team cycle bonuses. It's the residual income part. And this is the part where you really got to listen in, right? Because this is the meat of how we make our income as coaches, right? So for every $300 that your team brings in, you make $14 to $18, right? And I want to go show you let me go to that clip. Let me see if I can get you that clip, guys. All right, let me just go here first. View, present. And so I was talking about the structure. So in the chat box, this is the structure of business. What does it look like to you guys? And you guys, again, I love people who are brutally honest, because trust me, I've been a coach for 4 years. I love interacting and hearing what you guys say. What does the structure look like? What is the shape of it? Right? Somebody type it in. A ladder. Okay, what else? We're going to stay here. I'm okay with the pregnant pause, guys. A pyramid. Yeah. Right? Okay. So that's what I wanted somebody to say, like a triangle or a pyramid. This is not actually Beachbody structure. This is not the coaching structure, right? This is actually just a random structure from any company out there. It could be Ernst & Young, the company that I used to work for, or even a nonprofit like a church. People get so caught up with the shape of an organization that once they see it, they're like, oh my God, that must be one of those pyramid scheme type things, right? But in reality, all these companies, all the legit companies out there, they're shaped like this. You got your CEO on the top, all that stuff. And I think sometimes I even think corporate America is the scheme here, right? Because CEOs, they only get elected once in every 10 years. But in network marketing, you can make it to the top. So many people can make it to the top, right? And let me go show you Team Beachbody structure, right? And so network marketing, there are two main differences between network marketing and a pyramid scheme, because there are pyramid schemes out there and you got to watch out for them. So two big differences. Number one is that in a pyramid scheme, there is no product or service being transferred. right? So Bernie Madoff, how many remember him? 2008, 2009. I think it happened around that time, right? He was telling people, give me your money and I'll give you a bigger investment back. He had nothing to give to these guys. There's nothing that he was investing in. He was just gathering people, and that's how he was making his money. That's a pyramid scheme. But in a legit network marketing company like Beachbody, like Herbalife, like Avon, Amway, I'm not affiliated with those other ones. From what I know about network marketing, I believe they're legit. In network marketing, you actually have product or service being exchanged. And that is how we make the majority of our money. Either we use it or we share it or both. So yeah, we're bringing in people into the business, but we make no money from just bringing people in. We only make money together when people are using the products, right? That is the main difference between a legit network marketing company. And that's why Herbalife is still around. They try to shut them down, but they can't because they're legit, right? People, just like any other company out there, if you're a dealership or if Ernst & Young, you're selling accounting services, there's a service and you get some money from it. It's just like any other business out there. Number two main difference is that in network marketing, I can make more than the person who signed me up and also the people above me because of the way this thing is structured, right? This structure right here that I'm showing you right now. And I make way more than of many people above me. And there's moments and times where I made more than the person who brought me into this business. And there's also people who started later than me and they're already making 6 digits, right? Some of them making 10,000 a week. And I'm just like face palm, you know? And that's why I love this business, because everyone can be their own CEO and everyone can win, right? Everyone can win. And yeah, there's also people who started earlier than me who are like, Jonathan, how did you do this? Because they're probably making a little bit less and they want to get increased income. But in any case, let me show you a quick video so that you guys can understand what it is to cycle. It should be here. There we go. I'm shared screen. So let me see if you guys can, Ben is messaging me. Can everybody hear this? Thumbs up if you can hear this. Thumbs up if you can hear this. Thumbs down if you can't.
Exactly how it works using my kids' toys from when they were little. Okay, so here's how it works.
How about this?
To qualify for Team Cycle Bonus, it means you first have to become an employee coach. How do you do that? Well, you have to be active and you have to enroll one new coach. We'll use wrestling great Jimmy Superfly Snuka.
All right, since this is actually, I'm gonna improvise here because what's it called? Since it's a little hard to hear. Pretty much, if this is me right here, this green dot, for every $100 that this side brings in, my left side, and for every $200 my right side brings in or uses, I get around $14. Pretty simple, right, guys? Does that make sense? So for every $200, $100, $300 combined, they bring in. But if you have a big organization or everybody's doing a little bit something, that's not 200, 100. Sometimes I'm seeing thousands, right? So that's how I'm earning my income. And the thing is, look, I only have 2 legs, right? So if this is me right here in green, and this right here, the bottom right that I'm cursoring, this is you. If I have to play somebody else somewhere else, like if I sign up, let's say James Lau, right? James, I'm putting you here. So James will be in your organization. He will help you cycle as well and earn residual income because you can see him in your organization. Does that make sense? So you're not working by yourself. You're working with a team. And of course, the person above you is going to start placing people underneath you because they want to see you be successful. And it just makes sense, right? But the reason why I can make more than somebody above me is because they haven't built their leadership yet. Because in order to start earning the residual income or unlocking the cycles or the residual income, you have to personally at least bring in 2 people. Does that make sense? 2 people. Again, if they're just 2 people and they're not using product or service, you're not going to be able to unlock, and that's a pyramid scheme if you're making money only by signing 2 people. Those 2 people actually have to try the product or be selling the product. Right, one or the other, at least giving it a shot, right? That's how you become the leader. You show them that you're doing it, they do it as well, and that's how the money is being moved in network marketing. Does that make sense? So you can't just bring in 2 people and they're not doing anything, right? You're not going to get money. They're not going to get money. Nobody's going to get income. You guys have to be willing to try it out, right? All right. So just remember the big picture, right? Quit living life by default and start living it by design. I know we went over a lot here, and some people, it might be hard for some, like a hard pill for some people to swallow, but once I learned it, I was like, I'm going to share this with the world. People need to hear this, right? So what can an extra $100 a week do for you in your life? $200 a week, $1,000 a week or a month, right? I was content with 500 a month, but I was like, whoa, where else can I take this? Right? So that would be even crazy. What kind of legacy do you want to leave? I'm here in Brooklyn right now. My girlfriend's in Philly. I'm almost done this. This is actually my last slide, right? And I travel to Binghamton to do real estate. I travel all the time. But I can do this because I have an online business now. And you might not be able to just pack up and go, but you can definitely do this part-time, guys. You guys can definitely do this. And there's one more thing that I wanted to say, but I don't remember it. And when it does come up, I will let you guys know. But oh yes, so these webinars, like we're building a team and you guys are in the forefront. I just started doing this weekly. So whoever signs up today doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna get a head start. But since we're doing this every single week and people are constantly inviting other people to this business webinar, you're gonna have people in your organization working with you. So there's 11 people here, 10 people here. So if like 3 people join, you guys can potentially be working together. And that's what I love, leveraging each other's success, right? And I also do it at home, 1 p.m., so that you guys might not know how to explain it right from the start, but you guys can continue learning from me and let me do the heavy lifting for you so we can build together. And so, yeah, I'm going to take any questions right now, and feel free to unmute yourself, guys. Many blessings to you. Yes. Hopefully that was, I'm going to stop my share. It's all right, Kenneth. All right. Any questions, guys? Was that a lot? Or was that, at the very least, I want people to come out of this with the understanding of the cash flow quadrant, right? You're welcome, Sung. And that's why I'm always so happy when I was at Ernst & Young, man. So Sung also works for Ernst & Young. He was part of my team. We went to Binghamton together. It's because I knew I wanted to build a business. I wanted to be an investor. And so
Just FYI, I posted a link in the chat box for people who wanted to watch the Beachbody cycling bonus video.
Yes.
So
Okay.
it's available for people who want to see it.
Thank you. And if you don't have any questions, or if you feel like this is not for you, that's okay. If you're not walking my path or our path, doesn't mean that you are not going to be successful. I just wanted to show it to you guys, so when we do get to the top, I don't want people to say, Jonathan, why didn't you tell me what you were doing, right? And so just let me know honestly, because our team. Well, I'm specifically looking for people who are teachable, wanting a chance to be their own boss and stuff like that, and I guess want to move out of the employee mindset kind of thing, right? So I'll take any questions. It can be personal, it can be general. If you wanted to see more numbers by any chance, because I have a list of a lot of my mentors and what they make, and they're just all over the place, right, guys? And if needed, I can always draw stuff out on my handy dandy whiteboard. I know it's like 9:52. I wanted to keep this like 40 minutes, but I rambled a little bit. But yeah. What's on your mind, guys? I think, Josh, do you have something to say? Anybody have any questions? Again, nothing's too general, nothing's too personal. I'll explain it as best as I can. Maybe I'll unmute everybody. There we go. Everybody's unmuted.
It's a great presentation, man.
Thanks, Neil. I wish you guys could do it live, because I use the board more, and it's more like interactive, right? But thanks for showing up, and thanks for listening, right? I hope at the very least it gave you that, hey, Why I quit EY. Not saying that EY is a bad place. But,
John, if people have questions like later on, because I mean, I know when I first started, I was like, oh, I had questions like, after, you might not have questions now, but you have questions later. What's the best way to contact and reach you, I guess, for everybody else?
Facebook message. Definitely Facebook message, right? So you guys, I'm friendly. I don't want to give out my number right now because it's also recorded, so I don't know who might be listening to this. But definitely reach me out on Facebook. I think most of you can find me, right? Most of you are my friends or friends of friends. You guys can find me on Facebook. Josh, lots to think about, right? I know you're your own CEO, right? It only cost me $4 a day to do Beachbody. I know you're already doing P90X and stuff like that. After the $4 a day, everything else is profit. And so it just made sense. In the beginning, I think some weeks I was making $20 a week, $50 a week, but I was like, yeah, even part-time, it was pretty cool for me. How was that thing? The good old Ascend president. We should have a reunion one day, man. Yeah, Josh, it was, again, they don't do background checks. There's no credit report. Somebody could be a criminal, like petty theft or whatever, and they get a second chance at building their own life, right? There's no background. I'm not saying that you are, I'm not saying that I am, right? I'm just saying anyone can really do this. And if they don't like it, 30 days, they get their refund back. You can't do that with a business, like starting up a Chipotle. They're going to ask you to sell more chicken bowls. Ryan, James, any questions?
Nah, as of now, just thinking about it.
Not really, actually. It was really interesting way you put it. But then, yeah, no questions as of now.
Yeah, dude, I was 19 years old when I started. So just imagine how questionable I was, So if you're questionable about this, it's very normal. We're going to do this again next week, and you can definitely invite all your peeps. Okay, gotta go, but thanks for inviting me. Yeah, thank you, and God bless to the Beck family. And stay-at-home moms really rock this thing. I'm just saying, because we can do this from anywhere. Later. Yeah, if you guys need to go, definitely feel free to just log off, right? And because I know it's getting a little bit later, but yeah, definitely. And you guys know how to reach me. This thing is recorded. Thanks, bro. All right. Good night, man. I'll see you Friday or Saturday. It's wedding time. Later, Neil. Yeah, definitely, Josh. Send me it whenever. James is already going to sleep.
I'm still here.
Yeah, questions. Again, they can be super personal. Or it doesn't even have to be about coaching. It can be like just to catch up, right?
I have an interesting question.
Yeah, go for it.
So, pretty much, like, I'm just guessing right now. So, you're pretty much taking the revenue that you captured from Beachbody workout and redistributing it into all different businesses to generate yourself more revenue, right? Pretty much.
Well, Beachbody is a business in itself.
Yeah.
So I'm reinvesting into Beachbody. I really don't have to, but I like to give back to my team and reinvest in them. And so that's what I'm doing in this network marketing business. And whatever I have left over, because you guys are all young, under 30, no mortgage, no kids for the most part. What are you gonna do with the money? I put it into a house, right? I'm investing it into a house, a rental house. So I guess your answer is yes. With my Beachbody revenue, I'm first investing back into the business, and then putting it into rental real estate.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, because where else am I gonna put the money? I don't want to put it in a bank. Bank, you get 1% interest, right? In Beachbody, I put in my $4 a day. It turns into like 5,000% income. I know Ryan, James, a lot to think about, but we are building a team. Michael Kwan, we're building a team, and we're gonna do this again next week. So you guys can join. You guys can invite people, right? Again, the goal is not to have somebody become a coach on one of these things. The goal is to just get them to have an open mindset, right? You're welcome, Michael. Take care. But yeah, I gotta get that down to like 30 minutes. Yeah, really get that thing down to 30 minutes. Dang, it was a little bit longer than I expected. But yeah, I think James. Well, Emmett's a coach already. I think Justin is pretty much gonna become a coach soon. And
Wow, he's going to the military soon too.
well, see, here's the thing about military, right? Again, you can work this anywhere, anytime.
Yeah, I know.
And
This is pretty surprising. I was like out of nowhere. I was like, oh, nice, good for him.
yeah, what he told you?
No, actually, no, he did it. I haven't caught up with him in a while.
Yeah, because there's like the system's already there. People just got to plug in, and they got to roll with the punches, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know selling Supreme stuff is hard. I mean, there's good profit, but you will only make money when you sell.
Yeah, that's true.
Like you can't build a team unless you build a team to work with you and you get a piece of their cut, right?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm just trying to do this temporary.
Good. If you're making more than $9 an hour, you're a better start than I am, man.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I feel like small child that keeps older money.
All right, guys. If there's no more questions, you guys know how to reach me. Good night.
Yeah, good night.